Welcome back and a happy new year. We're here to cover the Divine Masculine update. Yes, we cover these weekly. Lots changing in the mix in 2026. And if you want to follow us down on our website, all the links are directly below. For those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium, clairvoyant. I cover everything esoteric, and we're going to get into the energy update for you. My name is Yildiz from Yildiz Readings, and without further ado, let's take a look at what we have. Now, this week in the mix, what I am seeing, especially in the context of the frequency really moving through, is we do have change. Now, this is a portal where things are going to start amping up. I'm also seeing this really heavily in the cards of the Divine Masculine. We have the crowning energy coming through here in the context of their life and the thoughts and the things that are really cropping up for them. We have this crowning energy coming through really in a context of looking at life and saying, hey, something here is changing. Something in my life I've had to put on hold. I've really had to meditate upon. Now, what can this be? This can be their own personal emotions. It could be the physical environment, but there has been this hangman position. This could be because of the first lunation of the year and really having to meditate and recover and go into, okay, as above, as below, how do I evolve this situation? Where am I meant to be? What are my deeper truths to do with this circumstance? And we do see these individuals really contemplating this situation. Now, they may have needed to go into a vortex and really consider what was bringing them bliss. What was, sometimes it's even just really that deep reflection, that dark energy we did last year, where we were diving deep into what is the true essence? Where is my courage? Where is my creativity where it comes to this situation? And again, I do believe these lunations this month are pivotal points of transitions, especially in the mix of the Divine Masculine's life. Internally in their heart space, they are really longing. And, I always hear this term, and it's sort of like Dorothy clicking their feet and wanting to go home. And it's that home is where the heart is. But it's funny because we do have the actual crowning energy really dictating that that's not how they're seeing their life at this point. So they do have this alternate reality of what they feel life is supposed to be, where home is. Initially it might have felt as though this was going to be a loss if they actually follow through with this inner truth of what they needed to address or where they were going towards and what they needed to leave behind. And there is this old kind of vibration that this year we very much in the first 6 months of the year very much are leaving. And a purging of the ego actually dissolves structures and situations in our life. And, I'm very mindful of while I'm recording this, ahead of the curve, psychically, intuitively, that yes, simultaneously this month in the mix, it can become quite bold. So please take it in the context of where it lands. This individual here, like I said, it's like, okay, what we're losing initially, sometimes when we usher in change, we can start seeing the fives and we can be almost where we are. When we're seeing the fives, we literally have come to a detached phase. We have come to a space where we are accepting that the world in which we live, the life that we're living, is really not resonating with us any longer. Although we can have a slight amount of ego really stating, and I'm looking to the past position here where we have peace and moonlight. And I think this is something that this group of energy has gone through is, hey, hang on a minute. I remember back to when life was clear and creative and motivational, and I was confident and I felt at peace and home and nurtured. And, this is really coming up in their heart space. Now, when we move to the next card, we have loss and reverse. This can be attempting to stabilize the situation, but I'm also getting a different vibration. I do get a feeling that this person is having a revelation that what they're leaving behind, and usually that's after the fact of the ego, in the context of the subject matter being purged, because you've gone back and forwards, you've looked at the data, the analytics, and you've come to a space in your life that you keep coming back to the same resolve, and that's where acceptance comes, detachment. Sometimes you might not even know how you're going to implement that, and that's where the detachment comes. It's almost like you have an acceptance psychologically that you're choosing a particular path. You don't quite know how to get there, especially in the context of the vibration number this year. It is like the Fool card in Tarot, and initially you could feel as though you don't have all the tools, but you're going to find them within yourself. Universe is going to give you those tools. So they're not really grasping that there is going to be some blessings for the frequency of that, of what they move through. I feel that's coming after the fact. And I'm hearing the term a blessing in disguise, something turning in their favor, being a blessing in disguise, and really gaining the confidence and having an understanding that they are directly appreciated, that their efforts, if you're placed in the correct location, your efforts are always going to be really looked upon as valued. And I feel this is the divine masculine saying, hey, no more tears to cry. I need to move through this. I need to address it. I need to accept peace. There could be some anger that does crop up. However, I feel this is more them directly moving towards something that they're very passionate about. Whenever I get this flame tree, I always link the twin flame path to it. And that's just the way the cards have come through for me as an intuitive psychic medium. This is a brand new beginning. This is a brand new situation based on a circumstance of the past and moving to the future. I feel it's almost like a portal where past, present, and future are all up in the mix for addressing and moving into that emotional space and connecting and addressing and looking at shadow. I think some of these things are going to be worked through into May. However, what I do see is the steps and the acceptance and the movement is actually happening in the here and now. And again, we do have evolution, and evolution is in reverse. So sometimes we psychologically can feel as though things are moving backwards and we are not actually changing. The one thing they are saying in a very, very bold way is the way they feel about you has never changed. It's never wavered. Maybe there's circumstances, the environments, the people, places, and things, but they do know that you are the person that they do directly have eternal love for. And this is something that they have not been able to shake. So they're very accepting of this. They're very accepting of the fact that you are a person that is very connected. They can see a future with you. They can see where they're going. And they really do feel that this is what is going to be right for them. It's almost like you're coiled in light. And, where we see the sun here, I do really feel this is a pivotal point in their life where they are directly making a decision about where they are going. The sun always has that correlating energy. Later on in the year, we are going to have Jupiter moving into the sun position. And it's going to be able to refine those situations with the context of the divine masculine, with their childhood, with who they are wanting to build their life with, the what, why, where, and how. That's going to become closer and closer. However, I do see this in the context this week of a profound choice and a direction and deep, deep clarity. We're going to go into clarifying to see if there's anything else that we need to know about what is coming through for the divine masculine and their feelings towards you. I do think there has been a bit of a bugbear. And again, this could have been with a karmic throat chakra. This could have been, with a karmic, with a family, with a living environment, with maybe the things they were doing and where they were residing. For some, it might be that they wish to move. But there has been a sacrifice, and there is a method to the madness. This method to the madness, somebody might not see on the external. And sometimes in the yin-yang effect, especially when divine feminine could be looking in, sometimes we don't directly see the correlating energy. Divine masculine has been taking a tactical approach, they're saying. However, this situation is actually coming to an end. It's coming to a head. Okay, what do we need to know about this? Okay. Now, where do they stand with the divine feminine in the heart space, please? Interesting. They directly feel that by their actions and your emotions, plus the way they're feeling inside, is, how do I space it? It's almost like it's giving you mixed messages. It's giving you the thought process that this person is deeply embroiled in a circumstance and more committed to it than you. And that actually upsets them. And this is where I feel this pivotal transformation and change is coming through. Okay. Context of the karmic path. Context of divine feminine. There's two subjects. Yeah, there's very much two kind of, how do I explain it? What they're painting me is there's a viewpoint they have of you, and there's a viewpoint they have of a karmic cycle path person. This could be a place or thing. I'll be real. Now, I'm pulling a card for each, and where it comes to the loss, in the context of the karmic cycle, they are no longer allowing themselves to be imprisoned by the circumstance. They also know by doing such, in correlating energy to the divine feminine, they feel as though this will help and aid a reconciliation. Let's see. They're wanting me to go really deep on this. Let's ask it deeper. Okay, is there a battle here, please? With the karmic cycle, what do we need to know? Okay, they have trust issues with this individual in the cycle. This individual might be wanting to stay on good terms, but I do feel the divine masculine feels there's some old business that needs addressing. Even though this person's thinking everything's flowing smoothly, their mind is no, that it's not. And they're not taking this anymore. And they're taking a tactical approach. And it's funny because we do have a new start. Something is coming up here. There is a cutting off of this. It's not quite there yet because the approach has already started. Don't get me wrong, it has. But there's a poker face frequency. And they're fighting back and they're pushing back as to what is being taken from them. And I feel this, even though this person is kind of looking at like, hey, you know, we can be friends. This is how this can move forward. I don't feel this is how they're looking at it. I feel, if anything, there is a tactical approach. It's being civil. I do feel for some they're not even talking. It can be very, very quiet. And I do feel this is actually taking this individual by surprise. I'm hearing the term that divine feminine is taking notes. But the notes, you may not have all the data. You may not have all the information. I feel this is going to be actually shown to you. But divine masculine also knows that they're needing to change several things in order to liberate themselves. And that no, in fact, they're not wanting everyone to sing kumbaya. They're really wanting this path of this entanglement to be cut off. They're wanting to have a transformation where they are directly liberated so they can have less drama. To really return, and do they wish they could turn time back? Yes, they do. But they know that they have to move through this portal to get to the other side so that they can get to you, divine feminine. I do feel this is something that is deeply, deeply on their mind. And some of this information is going to be exposed to you, but they're having to take a tactical approach. Now, if you do need a booking, you can go to the link directly below. We do cover these updates weekly, and more content is coming in 2026. I was almost going to say 2025. You also can visit our landing page for Sage Inner Circle Network to access our membership for the grand opening. If you are needing anything, please feel free to visit us. Otherwise, we will see you next week for our updates.